Hey folks, welcome back to the shop. Frank here, finishing up the forklift. I have a couple loose ends to tie up, a couple cosmetic things to take care of, and a couple of mechanical adjustments to make. So stick around. We're gonna wrap this baby up. This one's cockeyed. It's bent. So you can see the bolt is bent. Well, that doesn't line up. That hole is supposed to be over here. Well, I messed that up, didn't I? Much better. Got a few items to take care of on the forklift build to finish it up. A couple loose ends. I caused a little bit of damage. I bent this wheel axle. You see the other one. All right, so you can see this wheel is straight. Bottom wheels are straight. This one's cockeyed. It's bent. What happened here was the plug weld I did for the pin, the tilt pin here, had a little protrusion on here. I've since ground it off flush, but what happened is the head of the bolt on this wheel caught that little bit of material there and bent that axle. So I had the same, I ground it down on this side as well. When I plug welded, I didn't take enough care to grind it down and just happened to have an interference on this wheel. So I'm going to pull this wheel off, replace the bolt. While I'm in here, I'm going to add another clamp to these cable terminations. We'll get another clamp on each position, so we'll do that as well. So you can see the bolt is bent, so it won't, I don't think it'll come through. I need to straighten it out, so go over the vise and do that. Alright, so we'll put a new bolt in there. So I had these cable clamps on backwards. So the saddle is supposed to go on the standing line. The U-bolt's supposed to go on the cut line, the short line. The saying is, as one of the commenters mentioned, I'll put his name here, never saddle a dead horse. So that's the guidance on applying these cable clamps. See, this one's right, this one's wrong. This one's wrong. I think the other four, the other end, are right. I think they want them spaced 6 cable diameters apart. One as close to the thimble as possible. Get this cable back in this thimble. There we go. Well, this one actually was right. Didn't need to undo that one. It's this one that's wrong. I get the cable back inside the thimble here. All right, so that one's correct. No, that one's backwards. Let's look at the other clamps. Alright, so looks like both of these are correct. The saddle is on the standing line. Look at the other side. You can see them. Looks like that one's correct, and the one down there is just like it. So those 4 clamps are correct. I'm going to get 2 more clamps and add them to this cable at the bottom here. Alright, so those are torqued. When you tighten one, it loosens up the other one, so you got to tighten them back and forth alternately to get them both torqued. Okay, that looks good. This wheel I need to replace, so I'll need to order a new wheel. It'll work for a while, but it needs to be replaced. I messed up when I didn't account for this protrusion, and if you think back to the video, I don't know, 5 or 6 episodes ago, anyway, when I was operating the lift with the air cylinder, with the air pressure, it wouldn't go past a certain point. It's because it was hitting that. I didn't realize that. So anyway, all right, live and learn. It's all part of the process. All right, I think I'm going to leave the carriage off, see if I can get a new wheel, put a new wheel on here before I put the carriage back on. So this is my preferred paint for this purpose. It's a primer, and I call it a rust reformer. So any light surface rust gets turned into magnetite, I think is what it is. It's just like using naval jelly. So this, I've had really good luck with this as a primer. So I've been using this on Cub Cadets for 10 years, and I haven't had any paint rust through on any of my tractors where I've used this. So this is good stuff, I have to say. No affiliation or anything, but it's what I like to use. All right, so got one more can of this in the shop that I need for the other side. So these are all been, this is the second set of 9 weight plates, and I've got one side painted here, primed. Give them a couple hours to dry, flip them over, and take care of the other side. Alright, so this is the aluminum diamond plate. It's got the texture down, and I'm going to cut it from the back. I did do just a little short test cut. Looked like it would work okay, so I'm going to cut out one of these foot pads. We'll see how this goes. It's the first time I've ever cut aluminum on this plasma table. I mean, that's nearly perfect. And a little tiny bit of dross on there. I'm going to speed it up for the next cut. So this is one. I need two that are mirror images. So I actually have two different files. So I'm going to get the other file. Alright, that did actually has a little more dross. This one I cut at 90 inches per minute. The last one was 85. So, but certainly not bad. I'll get a piece of sandpaper and we'll clean up these edges and put them on the tractor. Well, that doesn't line up. That hole is supposed to be over here. Well, I messed that up, didn't I? That's going to have the same problem. Well, I clearly didn't measure that correctly, didn't model that properly. Got these 3 holes right. This hole in the wrong spot. Shucks. So of course the old adage, measure twice, cut once. I didn't follow that, but I can get the opposing piece, the mirror image piece, out of each of these. So this will, I can cut this out, it'll fit right there easily. I can do that on the other one as well. Alright, that's much better. So I started this one offset this way because if I pushed it all the way up here, I feel like I would run out of, I had too much material on the far side, so did that so I wouldn't run off. Alright, so at least those holes line up this time. Much better. I think that looks a lot better. All right, so that's the finished painted weight support, counterweight support. Got the new foot pads on. I went ahead off camera and replaced this wheel. I ordered several more, got them in, put that on the lathe, trimmed it down to fit, put a new bolt in it. So that's fixed. I think I'm going to go and change those wheels out to steel wheels. I'll cover that in a future episode. I ordered 4 1-inch steel discs, 3.5-inch diameter, and I'll put them on the lathe and taper them to fit here, and then bore them out for bearings. And then, at least this is what I'm thinking, bore them out for bearings with like a 1/2-inch shaft, or maybe 3/4 inch shaft maybe, and then mount a shaft all the way through to basically make it a very, very robust wheel system on that trolley. So I'll get those discs. Well, actually, today's President's Day, so there won't be any mail today. But McMaster-Carr usually comes by UPS, so I may get them today. So if I get them today, then I'll work on that, and be a couple weeks before I get an episode out on that. I think I do want to put, real steel wheels with robust bearings, so I don't even have to worry, don't have to even think about that anymore. But everything else is working great on the forklift. I need to find a way to get 1,000 pounds on here, just to see. I don't have any doubt that it'll pick it up, but maybe I'll cover that in a future episode as well. But I think by and large this is done. Everything seems to be working on it. The only thing I haven't really tested is the full 1,000-pound rating versus the counterweight, but I think might have to try to do that in a future episode, future video. I've got a couple other videos I've been working on that are going to go up here on the channel over the next couple weeks. Maybe we'll come back to this next month and look at the steel wheels. All right. So I appreciate everybody watching all the episodes. It's been 30. This is episode 31. So it's been 6 months. 6 months. Episode a week for 31 weeks. Started back in August or September. It's been a fun project. It's Been less work than the dozer build, I think. A little more straightforward for me. It was fun to build something that, you know, I think I can use more frequently than the dozer. Now, the dozer was really interesting to build because it was, I think, a much bigger challenge in terms of the drive system and stuff. But, you know, already having a backhoe loader, you know, the need for a dozer for me, and having a motor grader as well, the need for the dozer is a lot less pressing. So I won't probably use it a whole lot. I mean, as I said many times during that build, that it was a toy. I mean, in a sense, it was just for the challenge of building it. And that was, you know, my motivation was the challenge of building it. And that's kind of my motivation for all this stuff. It's just fun to do. In the case of the forklift here, I mean, this is something practical that I can actually use. I don't have a substitute for, and I think it's going to be helpful. If I continue to use the plasma table and cut steel, especially the heavier 1/4 and 3/8 inch, 3/16 plate steel, I can't handle those by myself. I can't unload them off the truck without using the magnetic lifter and the front end loader, which is kind of a hassle. It delays the driver. The driver's a good guy, and he's helpful, and he actually helps me unload stuff, but it does delay him, and I'm sure most of his customers take stuff off his truck with a forklift. This was fun. I'll probably get to use it more than the other equipment. I think I'm just going to leave it here, you know, leave it here in the shop. It's not so big that I can't, you know, manage to leave it here. I'll back it up, turn around, back it up, and maybe take the forks off if I'm not going to use it for a while. But it turned out well. I'm very pleased with it. It works just like you would expect it to work. The tilt is a little fast because of the high flow rate on the hydraulic pump, and it uses the same hydraulic pump as the main cylinder, but the main cylinder, you know, lift is, you know, about the right speed for me. I think everything, you know, turned out pretty good, and I think it looks, I mean, it looks good too. I think it looks proportional. It does achieve the 6-foot free lift that I was looking for. It does fit in and out of the 8-foot doors on my shop here. It will not fit in my other garage. So, at least the other garage here, without, you know, some major modification. Someone suggested hinging the top of the mast, which, you know, I suppose, you know, would be something that wouldn't be too difficult to do. You could cut it and put a hinge on it, I guess, or just cut it and separate it and fix it so it had a sleeve, so it slid back together, so you could just lift the top 18 inches off, drive it in the other building, drop the 18 inches back on, put a pin through it or something to hold it. So that might be something I wind up doing down the road. But overall, I'm happy with it, and I appreciate the dedication of a lot of the channel viewers sticking with this project over, you know, such a long period of time. I know there were comments from people who said, you know, hurry up, you're taking too long. They wanted to see the whole thing built in one episode, I guess. You know, there are a lot of videos on YouTube like that where they'll build a machine in one episode, 20 minutes or 40 minutes or something. And that's not you know, what I'm doing, you know, short of going back and combining all 30 episodes and condensing them down to one, that would be the only way I could do that. So, you know, watching this build over 31 weeks, you know, takes some dedication from you guys, and I appreciate that. It's you've stuck with me this whole period. I hope that some of the stuff I did was interesting, maybe learned a little bit. I certainly learned a lot in the process, and I don't put myself out there as any kind of a expert fabricator. I'm an amateur. I'm new to metalworking, you know, a few years. There's usually more than one way to solve a problem. The way I solve it may not be the same way you might solve it. You know, I may have a reason for doing it differently or a particular way, or I may not know a better way. It's the way I figure out to do it. So I'm not saying that anything I did is the way you should do it. And if you attempt anything like this, you're on your own. It's at your own risk and peril. But I hope it was a little bit of entertainment. I haven't, I've been asked the question, you know, what's the next project? And I don't know. I don't know. I'm running out of places to keep stuff. I do have a couple of projects, smaller projects in mind. This is, you'll see this video end of April, 1st of May, something like that. Summer's here, and I'm back on the boat. I've got a bunch of stuff I need to do on the boat. I've got some more electronics to install. Last summer I upgraded electronics on my boat. Wanted to replace my VHF radio. I finally, right before Christmas, got the replacement radio. So I need to put that in. It's not a big deal to install that. It's a one-for-one swap out, basically. So I need to do that. And I've got a new battery charger I want to put on, and a couple other maintenance items. Get ready for the season. So that stuff's coming on quickly. I might make a video on some of that stuff. Not a lot of viewers really interested in, you know, boat projects, but it's what's going on here. So that's, you know, kind of my methodology here. I am recording what I'm doing here in the shop, and the number of people interested in it will vary depending on, you know, what's going on. So thanks for watching. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think about the overall project. As I make changes, I got a couple things down the road that I may do over the summer, shorter projects. Like I said, new wheels for the trolley, steel wheels for the trolley. Probably going to do that. I may swap out the front axle for the heavier duty axle. It's still sitting here. Though the current axle, you know, is probably fine. I mean, these tractors were built to handle a front end loader, you know, which is picking up 500-600 pounds anyway. So having that amount of weight on the front, you know, is not unheard of, though you do hear about broken axles from time to time. And so that is, in this whole design, probably the only thing that doesn't have a 10-to-1 safety factor. There was a comment from somebody about me not taking the time to explain enough about the safety factor built into the lift mechanism. And so, you know, and I responded in the comments that if you take the, you know, I did mention that the cables had a safe working load rating of 1,500 pounds each, and the forged eye bolts were 2,200 pounds. So, you know, with that doubled up, it was, you know, like a 3-to-1 safety factor. and if one system failed, you still have a safety factor there. You know, more than the safe working loads for the system is still more than the weight being lifted. But if you look at the ultimate braking strength of the cables, they're over 5,000 pounds each, 5,400 pounds each. And so you really have the total ultimate strength of the lift system is over 11,000 pounds, which is, picking up 1,000 pounds is more than is a 10-to-1 safety factor. So you know, I think it's well overbuilt, and any concerns about, you know, load lifting and safety factors, I think, are met. I mean, I didn't go into that much detail, you know, when I was talking about it before, but it's the safety factor is there. All right, that's it. We'll see you guys next week. Got another project, an interesting project for next week and the week after. We'll come back to this one occasionally, and I may pull out one of the other machines and do some more tweaks on some of them as well. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.